I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your cattle market summary for the week ending July the 10th. You know, we had a pretty positive fed cattle trade right during the July 4th week last week, preceding the July 4th holiday on Saturday there, with packers really coming out and being aggressive and jumping the market up there. You would have thought that that would have carried into this week, but we sure didn't see much of a push from it. The market just kind of centered on the problems that they were having over in Europe, and we knew that box beef was going to be lower this week coming in after the July 4th demand, and not really anything to carry that demand for dressed meat. And with the really hot part of the year coming, even though people like to get outside as much as they can, they don't grill as much during the dog days of summer as they do in the early summer holidays, and then at the end of the summer and those holidays like Labor Day. But your CME cattle futures were real disappointing this week and didn't do too much there early in the week on Monday and Tuesday. But then with Wednesday, with that New York Stock Exchange computer glitch, it shut things down for about 3.5 hours there and kind of spooked everybody, and really took some stiff losses there on a Wednesday. And then come back a little bit on Thursday, but then Friday just continued with losses. And at the end of the week, August live cattle were lower again on Friday to close at 147.47, now getting back to a big discount from what cash is. And feeder cattle really took a beating this week, and we're down again on Friday there, and ended the week at 211.25, which is really no better indication of what cash feeder cattle, feeder steers weighing 750 pounds are worth for August delivery. It's no better indication of that, or the price of tea in China, more likely maybe the local economy in Greece. But it's just a far cry from what cattle are bringing right now, and you'd be hard pressed to find any feeder steers weighing in the sevens there that would sell for that price. And if you did, you wouldn't like them very much. The current cash index is 221.44. That's more than 10 bucks over what that August contract is quoting right now. And that's based on a lot on the sales that's happened the last couple of weeks when we've been in kind of a holiday shutdown here. These sales that we've had on the video for August delivery, the sales we've had out in the country on private treaty, most of them are well beyond that, running $10 to $20 over what that feeder cattle contract is quoting, with your top prices on your best solid colored cattle with a lot of condition up to $30 or even more of a premium to what that August feeder cattle contract is. So it's got a lot of straightening out to do here in the next couple of weeks. But cash feeder cattle this week in your sales, a lot of your sales had sales on Monday, your high volume sales in Oklahoma and Missouri and Kansas and places like that. They had sales but didn't have a really good test. We got in there about Wednesday and things started picking up, but for the most part your yearling feeder cattle prices were mostly steady, and didn't reflect those big drops we had on the futures there. But one thing that's pressuring it is December corn. Your corn's just kind of been steadily rising since it had that jump from that shock of a report that came out there a week or so ago. And now December corn's up to 445. Getting on the top side of 450 is going to probably stick in people's minds a little bit. But your calf prices, we didn't have a very good test of calves hardly anywhere this week. Most of your sales in the southeast got going again, but if you look at traditional market reporting, you don't get any direction from the market because they didn't have a sale last week, so it's just no comparison, and evidently there's no record of the last sale they had there. You would have thought they'd keep one of those around to give people an idea of what's going on. You can get on Cattle Market Central nowadays and see a lot of good prices from all weights and classes of steers and heifers on there. We expect a big influx of new sales. Auction markets coming on there, so more volume means a better test of the market and less fluctuation. So we invite you to go on to Cattle Market Central and check those out. A few quotes we did see on CMC this week. In Salina, there on Thursday, they had a first Thursday sale they've had in quite some time. They were been shut down for their holiday, or not holiday, but summer and harvest break there. They had nearly 2 loads of steers weighing 928, bring 214.85. That's over $350 premium on some steers that are almost 200 pounds bigger than what your base is on the board. And you know, that just doesn't make a lot of sense. Some calf quotes there in Russell Springs, Kentucky. They had a load of steers you see on Cattle Market Central there, weighed 608 at 256.10. Pretty good price, you know, out in Russell Springs, Kentucky. You know, Superior week in the Rockies was this week. We had a lot of cattle selling on there, 260,000 head. That's the biggest sale they'll have there, and pretty good test of what the market's going to be going into the fall. It's the first really big influx of sales we saw for fall delivery. And a lot of people are thinking these calves are going to be cheaper this fall, especially these lightweights, because they think there's going to be more calves on the market there, and especially coming from first calf heifers. And we know that these bankers and lending institutions are really going to tighten things up on guys trying to buy light cattle to grow, because we've gotten to the point where in cyclical terms it's time for the feeder cattle market to make a little break there, and they're going to make these guys that have to borrow all their money really hedge up tight, or forward contract, or do something, or they're going to start cutting back, because it just takes so much money to handle things anymore. But still, we saw some good markets for fall delivery calves right there on Superior on Thursday too, after they had that big Wednesday sell-off on things. The ZN Ranch near Saratoga, Wyoming, west of Cheyenne there, sold 252 head string of steer calves to weigh 380 at delivery in October, and for $402. Now, I'm not a mathematician, but that's getting pretty close to $1,600 right there. And these calves were all natural, but really all natural is about not a big deal coming off of a ranch like that and selling a big string of calves. But those calves at delivery will be unweaned. They're not out of Wagyus or anything wild like that. They're just good cattle, and Angus and Red Angus bred, and not a whole lot of bells and whistles, but still a pretty good market. Box beef cutout values did take a huge dump this week. Your weekly weighted averages were down nearly 10 bucks, and really the choice product has lost $16 in the last 8 trading sessions, so it has really took a drop. Slaughter is not expected to pick back up, because that was your packer margin right there, and so they've lost that big packer margin they've had the last couple of 3 weeks there. Just estimated to kill 551,000 cattle this week. Fat cattle this week was really pretty still respectable. Sold from 150 to 153 on a live basis, mostly 150 to 151 there late. And dress sales were from 240 to 242, which is not all that bad. That wraps up your cattle market summary for this week. Check out DV Auction for regular weekly auctions and some fall production sales coming up. You can also see this report on StockExchangeNews.com. So from my home office here near Maysville, Missouri, we'll talk to you next week.